Okay, so brilliant. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another interesting session here. This is actually the very first Tedbree Buzz Chat. We've done quite a number of sessions. However, we are going to be starting our very first Tedbree Buzz Chat today with some amazing speakers. And this entire month of March has been a month where we are celebrating the achievements made by female in pretty much in the tech space, in entrepreneurship, and women are just killing it all around. And what a way to end the month by bringing three powerful speakers here for you, who will be able to challenge your mindset, who will be able to tell you how they've gotten to where they are right now, the challenges they are facing, and also what their plan is to go to the next level. We are all learning here. So we hope that you will be able to pick up something. Will you be challenged by the things that you hear today to take on the baton and create something fabulous? I'm sure these women are going to tell you some of their stories today. They'll let you understand how it wasn't easy for them to get here, and also the important things that they've learned along the way, also the amazing things that they still want to do, and they'll be able to share and pour into you as much as possible. But before I go into all of this, I would like to just introduce myself, introduce Tedbree, because some people are here like, what's she talking about? What is Tedbree? What is Buzz Chat? Don't worry, I'm here to explain all of that to you. So I'm Tommy Edwards, and I'm the CEO and founder here of Tedbree. And what we do here at Tedbree is that we are a tech company. We pretty much have a platform that maps and pretty much put together talents with tech and marketing projects. I'm trying to see if I can put up one of our videos that will just explain that further. I'm not sure I have that up here, but I'll just basically explain. So what we do here is pretty simple. We realize that companies, regardless of how big or how small they are, require talents to be able to help them grow. So what we've created is we've created a platform which we call Tedbree Hub, and in there we use our own algorithm to match pretty much talent to tech and marketing projects. So be it you're trying to build an application, or you want to scale using marketing, or just so many things, that whatever thing you're trying to do, taking you from point A to point B, we'll be able to match you with world-class talent to help you do that, all within the space we call the Tedbree Hub. So that's what we do here. And the Buzz Chat is basically something that we've created. We feel like this is going to be an opportunity to chat with different founders. Now we've dedicated this one to women, but it doesn't mean there's always going to be women. So this is a session that we're going to have on a bi-monthly pretty much way. So the next time we're going to be having this will be end of May, where we'll be talking to another set of founders on challenging their mindset. They will also be challenging our mindset, and they'll be giving us different sort of hints that is happening within that space. Before the end of today, I will come up with the Tedbree video so you could have a little bit more insight about what we do. Now, let's go on to, it's not all about us today, it's all about the ladies in the house. So what I will be doing is I'll be introducing you to each of these fabulous speakers that we have in here. And 1 second, I'm introducing you to them for you to see who they are and what they do. And they will also try and explain to you by themselves, tell you about who they are and what they do. And then we'll take them one at a time to come onto the stage and pretty much talk to us about the different things that they're doing. So we have the fantastic Lena Lu, who is going to be introducing herself. Oh, wow, Lena is very excited. So I'm going to just pin her so you could see who we are talking about. And your background, where are you? In the background is telling me that you're somewhere in is that
virtual? I'm in the world of virtuality.
Okay. Fantastic. I'm so excited you're here today. And then we have the fabulous Dorothy Ashimalo.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
We are all fabulous, looking pretty with a lovely smile.
Thank you so much.
And we have the fabulous Audrey Limry. Audrey is here.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. So excited.
This will not be complete without with a bit of French in the house.
Yes, indeed. The French with a twist, the Caribbean twist.
So yeah, it's fabulous to have you all in here. So what we are going to be doing is I will put Lena on stage to introduce herself. Dorothy will introduce herself. Then we go straight into Audrey to introduce herself. After that, then we'll start backwards from where we stopped, which is coming back to Lena to tell us about her journey, and we'll begin the session. Yeah. If everybody is happy with this, please let's see the emojis pumping up. Are you guys excited and ready for what's about to happen? Don't be stingy with your emojis. All right, fantastic. Please share the link, tell your friends. It's all happening down here. We need to see more and more people listening to these sessions. These are very, very busy women who do not have time, but they've dedicated their time for us today. So it's for us to have this opportunity to listen to them and to take as much as we can take from these sessions. All right, so I will let Lena introduce yourself, tell us about the fantastic thing you're doing, and tell us all about the L Factor.
Thank you so much, Tommy, to have the opportunity to be among some amazing ladies such as yourself, as well as Dorothy and Audrey, powerful women in that sort of sense. To be in the mix with them and yourself is a true honor. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. So my name's Lena. My company is called the L Factor, no guesses why. And it was established because a client approached me and wanted me to help them with the strategy and marketing and building more visibility on a global basis. And they wanted specifically the Lena element because I was doing some tech advisory to some companies as such. Hence, the L Factor was born. It was, giving something cheeky, something quite unique. And it's been quite a turbulent journey, I must say. It wasn't easy, but I've been privileged into advising a lot of tech companies in Asia and in Europe about their growth strategy. So in essence, L Factor is all about growth. It's all about growing the business partnership, growing their business network, etc. And how do we do that? We look through the customer journey, looking at what the company does, where their strengths are, etc. In short, I'm a professional nosy parker. I'm very good at that. And I love learning about the businesses and where they're going. And that's what I do. Thank you again.
Thank you. Fantastic. I like that. So we can't wait to hear more about what you do. I can see how excited you are to tell us, and this is where passion comes from. It's written all over your face how passionate you are about about what you're doing. So I think I'll move over to Dorothy to pretty much tell us about herself and just introduce her fabulous self.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Tommy, for having me. Thank you to the other guests. You are all incredible. And I'm already learning a lot, Lena. So thank you so much, Tommy, for having me today. I'm Dorothy. I am the founder and CEO of a company called Create and Copy. Very similar to Lena, we help businesses grow through marketing and branding strategies. The different aspect of Create and Copy is we also focus on the copywriting aspect of it. We focus on ensuring that businesses and brands are saying the right things in order to connect with their brands, in order to connect with their clients, and in order to build the relationships that they are looking for. So looking to build the right relationships with the right words. So that's me. I'm not very good at talking about myself.
All right, fantastic. I'm sure we'll learn a lot more about Create and Copy and what you guys do very, very shortly. So I'll bring to stage Audrey.
Hello to me. Hi, everyone. How's it going?
We're fabulous.
Yeah, so a bit about myself. I'm Audrey Mary. I'm the CEO and the founder of Quivo. So Quivo is SaaS analytics platform offering pre-built and automated dashboards to businesses. So ultimately, we aim to help businesses leverage their data and get insight quicker, faster, without having to worry about building dashboard and crunching the numbers, etc. So I'm all about helping people with their data. This is something I'm passionate about. I love working with data. That's something that excites me. So it's really amazing to be here today. I've been in the tech industry for over 10 years now. And really my passion is to help people, help businesses, and I'm breathing data. I always encouraging other women to actually get into tech as well, because I think we need more women into tech. We need more women in data as well, specifically. So I'm always encouraging, say just get into it. It's exciting. It's amazing. It's an exciting space at the moment, particularly for women. So get on board. So I'd like to thank you, Tommy, for having me today. I'm really excited to be here along with Lena and Dorothy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Audrey. Looking forward to your chat as well. And I know since the time I met you, you've just been. I'm like, if I forget your name for a second, I'm like, the data lady. You just
Exactly. That's it.
so you call yourself the data lady. I'm like, oh yeah, Audrey, the data lady. And yeah, so it's amazing to see the progress you've made. I remember when you told me about Quavo just as a concept. I remember very vividly, and to see that you've created it and it's gone ahead to win an award is just amazing to see. So I can't wait to hear about the journey, how all of that happened, and I'm sure everyone here is waiting to hear that as well. So fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes, and I agree with you already. We need more women in technology. So before we go into starting to get to the nitty-gritty of this conversation, because this is meant to just be a relaxed conversation with pretty much these three ladies. And but what I wanted to let you guys know, people within the audience, is that we have this section here to your right hand side where you could start to ask questions. There's the Q&A there. Please put whatever questions you have in there. If someone has asked the question that you want to also ask, just upvote it. The questions that have the highest votes will be the ones that will bring it onto the stage. Interact as much as possible. And at the same time, at some point, we'll be taking over the polls to ask you guys questions. We know that we have our leaderboard set today, so we want to be able to give, there's a surprise gift for whoever is the top most person at the leaderboard. Right now, it is Oluwafemi Ojo with 130 points, and Dorothy is there as number 2. So check out the leaderboard. Victoria is number 3. So the way you get the points is if you interact, ask questions, use your emojis, and be pretty much participate in what is happening. Trust me, you will like the gift at the end of the day. Okay, so let's keep ranking. Let's overthrow Femi and Dorothy and Victoria quickly. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. So please use that bit, and this will be such an interactive session for all of us. So let's go. Let's start straight with Lena. So I'm going to put you on the hot chair and pin you here. Your reaction, like quite funny.
Hot chair. Oh gosh.
Chair. Okay. So I know you've told us exactly what the L factor does, and yeah, do I even need to ask why the L factor? It's kind of a given, isn't it?
Well, you probably know me well enough, Tommy, when I met you. I'm a very cheeky person, and I wanted to actually reflect upon something that reflects me, personality-wise, element-wise, and I wanted to give it that particular umph. There's a lot of people who establish their company for a variety of reasons. For me, I want to get up in the morning, have 3 million things to do, but I'm passionate about what I'm going to do that day. And hence the L factor is all about that, the cheekiness, but more importantly, the impact that I wanted to provide. So, with I've been through quite a journey. I've been mentoring a variety of women around the world, different cultures, growth, etc. All that is encompassed within the L factor. And yeah, that's what I imagine
That's
L
why you
factor to be.
went for the name. Fantastic. And I
Absolutely.
think that when you have something I like names that have a meaning. When you have something that has a personality, then it's something that people resonate with. When people ask me, oh, how did you come about the name Tedbree? I'm quick to say, oh yeah, they're the names of my kids combined together. Tedrick and Brianna became Tedbree. And it's something that it's difficult to your passion is just showing. So I
Yes.
could easily tell from the L factor that so this is like you have all of Lena within this business. When I come to you, you're getting all of Lena
All of
within
it.
within this package. And that's fantastic to see. So I know that, yes, I know that we're all giggling and we're all happy and smiling now, but I'm sure that it wasn't all rosy from the beginning when you decided to take the plunge and say, do you know what? Because I know you've worked with other people. We've gone a long way.
Yes.
But yeah. So what gave you, what made you say, okay, do you know what? It's time for me to do this. And also, when you started, what were the initial challenges you faced?
Oh, so many. So Tommy, we met quite a while ago, but I don't know if you know, and I like to share this specifically to all the lovely ladies out there, is that you can probably tell by now I'm Asian. And
No, I can't.
and I relocated to London at a very short period of time, and it was for my daughter's education. And long story short, we found the school accepted her, but I only had 2 weeks, Tommy, to make that relocation happen. So when I got the confirmation from the school, I quit my job, sold my flat, patch relocated. I came to London. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a flat. At that moment in time, I didn't even have a national insurance, but I had my passport. I had the right to sort of live here and everything. And my daughter was in school. And I started the journey where I wanted to be involved with the environment, the economy, but it was difficult. I had so much pushback saying that I didn't have the London experience, that I couldn't go back to my own job. So not to be deterred by that, I started a new career, new job, etc. And I just so happened to meet a CEO and founder of a fintech, financial technology hub. And Tommy, if you can call falling in love, I fell deep down the rabbit hole in love with nurturing a businesses, helping it grow, making it blossom, etc. It was just the best time of my life. We grew the company within 8 months. We had, managed stakeholders, funding, etc. It wasn't easy, but I did it. But after that, Tommy, one of the things that was demoralizing was a major shareholder pulled out. I had to make staff redundant. I was in a crossroad in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do. Do I want to get a security of a job? Do I do what I was doing? How do I do it? And that's when that client came, or a potential client came on, all the way in Canada, and said, we love what you did. We found what you have done very interesting. We've heard things about you, and we want you to come on board and come on. And hence, it was a pivotal moment for me, and I wanted to do it, and I did that. But throughout that, and then I was involved with InsurTech, fell in love with that, etc., etc. But you know what, Tommy? I've made so many mistakes. I've trusted the wrong people. I sometimes say the wrong things. I go into a room and I wasn't quite sure where I should position myself. I've done all that. But today, I'm happy to tell you, I can go into the room, held my head up high, and actually quite proud of my journey, because the mistakes, the failures that I've gone through made me who I am today. And I'm super proud of that. And I've been a mentor in the Sherry Blair Foundation, because I want to support a lot more women founders to go up there. I had a mentee. I grew her businesses 8-fold in a very competitive market. And she's an amazing woman. If I can just say, she is a mother of 4.
Wow.
She's a wife who's also helping her husband's businesses. And if that's not enough, she wanted to start her own business. And she did it. She did it. She was amazing. And we just have to segregate the time and cut it all, etc. So, and I've been to schools where I want to encourage a lot more up and coming talent to consider the tech, and specifically ladies, girls, etc., because they felt so uncertain. It still feels like a male-dominant world in some sense, and they're not quite sure. Talented girls, but sort of didn't have the knowledge, experience to sort of think, can I go out there? And I want to be there to support that. And to showcase someone like you, Tommy, you when I met you, you were so fascinating, not because of anything else, but you were exciting. You had so many creative ideas, you pivoted, etc. And I've watched your journey, and I'm just thinking, I'm proud to know someone like you. And I'm sure Dorothy and Audrey are amazing lady, like the data lady. Come on, who can actually go out there and say this? So I'm actually super proud that, you know, we can help navigate some of these people, and hopefully one day that, you know, we can make them, well, all of us proud where we are now.
Oh, wow. That I don't even know where to begin with that. How do you follow that? I think, yeah. You've just, I don't know what's it, because in the little thing that you've just shared, you talked about challenges. You pretty much bear so as to understand that it wasn't perfect. So you had to go through like a journey. You made some mistakes, and you're owning those mistakes. And then you've learned from those mistakes, which has made you, all of it is part of the L factor, because all of that are just the dots connecting together, to actually make you who you are at the moment. But there's something that you constantly say, which is the fact that you are not just doing this for yourself. You're out there to make a major impact. And you keep talking about, because from many things that I hear, that's what is resonating the most. So
Yes.
in as much as you are learning, you also want to be able to take people up and pull people up as well. You are you're setting a chair up for yourself. The Cherry Blair Foundation is a great foundation. I know quite a number of people in there.
Yeah.
And I know the sort of people that they attract as well. So that's an interesting achievement.
Mhm.
And for you to be able to mentor others into becoming, their own self and owning their own power, to be able to say, yes, I can do this. I think that's something that is extremely commendable. But in the midst of doing all of this, how do you, because what you've talked about now is a whole lot of things. How do you find your own time? How do you prioritize to find your own me time? How do you choose learner above everything else? Do you understand?
Yes.
How do you say that, okay, there's just so many things that you're juggling at the same time. How do you make it all happen and still find yourself to say, do you know what, at the right time, I want to prioritize learner? How do you do that?
You're absolutely right, Tommy. When I first started my business, I just want to be doing everything. I'm an octopus. I want to do this, do that, and everything. And it comes to a point where you couldn't do everything because it's not possible, and you have a family, they need a family time, there's rest time, etc. And it came to a point where I was giving up rest and doing the business more. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's actually not a good thing. But through that, I've now learned to sort of be a bit more focused in the sense of, if I'm going to do certain things, I'm going to do it well, instead of doing a lot of things, but I'm mediocre in all of them. So an example is, I'm talking about growth. So one of the things is, I'm an avid networker. So I go to a lot of network events and I meet a lot of people. Now I'm more focused on the network that I'm involved with, the people that I'm involved with. and really look at it very deeply and do that. I think also one size does not fit all. Some people get up early and do meditation. Some people get early and do yoga. Some people take a half an hour break and go out for a walk. Some people go and walk their dogs. Some people go and, look after themselves, do something. For me, I know it sounds really simple, but for me it works. I love having a cup of tea and reading a really good book. It just, not knowing, just in my little bubble, reading a book, learning about something, or reading a novel, that really works very well for me. And it could be anywhere, anytime. Isn't that fantastic?
I know. That's amazing. So your own me time, your relaxation time is you just chilling, reading a book, and and a couple. So what sort of book have you read lately?
Oh, there is so many. I'm a very one thing I've learned about collaboration is that it should be a two-way conversation. And I read a book by oh God, this is terrible. I know him so well, Adam Levine, and he's all about he's all about collaboration. But there are different tiers. There are givers, just gives without thinking. There are takers who only just takes whatever people give. And then there are the collaborators, people who actually look at the bigger picture and actually give and take at the same time. And those are the people, which is amazing. So that's him. Simon Sinek, everybody knows, the why sort of circle, it's all sort of like that. I'm also very much into reading about Chinese culture because I've got a lot of tech companies there. So there's a lot of Chinese books that I'm also looking into, and the Chinese updates. Endless and novels, etc. I'm an Agatha Christie fan. So anything with thrillers or whodunit sort of thing, that's me. I'll get me there. And one more thing, if I can just cheekily tell you, I'm also a Marvel fanatic. So love anything to do with Spider-Man, Avengers, etc. That's me.
Oh, wow. That's well, I can tell now. So when he said, I'm like, okay, let's see, what's your superpower? Would you be Wonder Woman?
Oh no, I'm not going to be Wonder Woman. I'll leave that for Audrey and Dorothy. They're the Wonder Woman. They're so amazing. So I can't compare with them. If I were to have a superpower, I would like to encompass it supporting more girls and female to fulfill their dreams. Really, I think it doesn't have to be a specific thing, but if they have a dream of doing something, I'd like to support them to sort of do that. And the reason is, before I wouldn't be that cheeky or confident about saying something like this, but now I'm just thinking, well, this is me. Accept me as such, and no need to be shy about it. And I find that still we have a lot of females who are too humble. They're doing amazingly great things, and yet they don't shout enough about it. You, for example, Tommy, you've done amazing.
I was about to raise my
hand on the Forbes magazine, and yet, half of the time you don't even say enough about it. You're a naughty girl. You know that?
I was about to raise my hand. I get, so people tell me that a lot. That, are you seriously doing that? I'm like, yeah, I haven't even got time to talk about it. But absolutely, you're right. If you don't talk about it, then people don't know that it exists, and then it doesn't inspire them. So pretty much I'm being selfish by not sharing. And that is something I'm beginning to realize, that you have to share. And it's not sharing just because you want to say, hey, this is me. It's pretty much for somebody else to say, oh, wow, she could do that. Maybe I can. And that is the real way to look at it.
Tommy, if I can just add, you'll be an amazing role model, because there will be so much female out there who didn't think it could be possible. And you need to navigate and steer the way to sort of say, well, I've done it. It is possible. It's not easy, but it is possible. So Come on, Audrey, Dorothy, Tommy, we need to spearhead and do something about this.
Do you know what now? I'm now excited. Well, we have a chat on Tuesday, the 5th. We are having a chat on Tuesday, so I'm excited. I'm piped up right now for
yes, Tommy. Yes, and I'm going to be challenging you, kind of say, right, Tommy, if by the time you're in Forbes magazine, just don't forget me. Just remember there is me there. So you have to sort of, remember that. So
I know.
definitely.
I can see I'm going to be told off a lot. So yeah, I'll be prepared for that bit. Hearing about your story it's quite interesting, and the way what you're talking about and how much more you want to impact not only women, but I think you are more passionate about women, and for very, very good reasons, because we've pretty much been left in the dust for a long time. Now it's our time, and we are not holding back. We just have to take it and keep running. But the whole concept of this evening is we're celebrating women in technology, even though I know that, yes, you've been in technology, and right now pretty much everybody's leveraging technology one way or the other. But we also want to talk about the power of a growth mindset. So I know that you've talked about your calm times where you just have your novel, or you're reading a pretty intense book and you have your cup of tea. But you also talk about the things that you're passionate about. But in the sense of all of this, mental health is important. Mindset is also pretty much important in business. What would you say, if we're to say, okay, this is just an open space of mindset, how would you see a growth mindset impacting a business, or how has it impacted your business or businesses that you've helped?
That's a very good question, Tommy. I am a very curious person. I really am a very curious person. When there's a new app on that comes along, I'm always one to try it out. So let me tell you a little secret. During lockdown, much as baking a lot of cheesecake, which didn't do my waistline anymore, I went on TikTok and I got my daughter on board, and we did a bit of dance move on TikTok. I'm sure there wasn't too much audience because nobody wants to see me dance. However, I did it. And the point is, I've tried that new technology. I have an idea how it works. I had a few thoughts about it, and follow the news, etc. I think growth mindset is to be curious about things happening and to learn about them. You don't have to be excellent about it. Someone like you, Tommy, I don't expect you to be excellent in everything, but you have someone beside you who can do it. And, a lot of founders' abilities is they have the mindset to grow, but they don't necessarily have to be specialists in them. You just have to know a little bit about a lot of things, and then sort of navigate the ship, so to speak. And that's me. I'm always curious. If my daughter said to me, "Hey, Mom, you know about this new app?" I said, "Ooh, really? Let's try it out," or something. Or a colleague would tell me, "Hey, do you know what the newest, platform about this is?" I'm always sort of curious to try it out. And I've had people who have new ideas, new platform, etc. They say, "Hey, would you like to come along and just try it free of charge, etc., just to see how it goes and give us your thoughts on it?" I would try and make time to do that. It's fun.
I totally agree. I think that being curious is actually an important recipe, because at the end of the day, once you're curious, you're constantly knowing what is happening out there. You have an idea, a little bit of idea about many things. And yes, you're not claiming to be an expert at those things. The ones that really fascinate you, then you've chased to really now become an expert at that so that you can offer that. So I'm totally with that. I think before I bring Dorothy onto the stage, there are two questions here for Lena. One is following what we've just talked about. I'll bring this up. So this is a question from Fatima. She's asking, why is it important to have a growth mindset, and how can you develop this growth mindset?
I think for anybody, or even in tech, to have a growth, the importance of having a growth mindset is that if you don't move forward, you'll be left behind. In the sense that, if everybody's moving forward and you're not moving forward, you're sort of left behind. So having a growth mindset is actually keeping up with the times, with the economy, with things happening around. And it's growth not only for the business, but for yourself. You know, you want to be learning every day. You want to be experiencing new things. You want to be learning from peers, you know, as I would be learning from Dorothy and Audrey and yourself, Tommy. I think, you know, I don't know everything, and I'm sure the three lovely ladies here would, you know, be exceptional in what they do, etc. So learning about that is important. And then how do I get a growth mindset? Well, I think you would know best how you would say. I don't want to say one size fit all. I'm just looking at it in the sense that it should be, how do you want to move forward? And what's best for you? Would it be, you know, some people are introverts and they prefer to learn certain things by trying it out, you know, quietly in a corner. Whereas there are extroverts who probably wants to shout out about it and get help and get someone on board, etc. So you have to find your own method into doing that and what suits you. For me personally, I just love trying new things. As I mentioned, curiosity, because I do a network, I network quite a lot, so I meet a lot of people. I'm always curious about what they do, the background, etc., etc. And I've learned so much. I've learned so much from accountants, from lawyers, and tech geeks. They're the best. You know, they can go so deep down about certain things, and it's so enriching for me.
Fantastic. I think you couldn't have answered that any better. It's just your own growth mindset. It depends on every single person.
Yes.
I'm an introvert. I know that, but I have to be an extrovert at some point. And when I need to be an extrovert, I am extroverted. But naturally, you know, my configuration is just to be just to myself.
Yeah.
And so once you discover that about yourself, you know that, okay, that means you have some weaknesses. How do you then get those weaknesses? How do you get people that could help you with those weaknesses and turn those weaknesses into strength? And with that, you could start developing that mindset of having to and that's my own method. I look at the things that I'm not so great at, and then I try to figure out, okay, how do I need, if I really need this thing, then I need to find the people that are very good at it to either learn from them or to bring them around myself. And with that, you're still growing and you're still developing a very important growth mindset.
Okay, wise words from amazing lady.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so I'm looking at the time and I'm looking at Dorothy smiling. So before I notice, oh, someone is asking for your TikTok handle, Lena.
Oh no!
I've been asked, please share your TikTok handle. Please put that in the chat. They need to see
gosh.
you.
It's the Lena Lu. I'm not that active. I mean, once in a while, I just do a few sort of horrible dance move, but it's just fun. I think it's called the Lena Lu. I'll put it in the chat. So if you don't find me, it's probably because it's not famous enough in that sense.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that. So what I'll be doing now is Lena will still be here for a few minutes, and I will bring up Dorothy to pretty much, guys, please be prepared with your question. And we have, don't let her go away easily. We need to ask her a lot of questions.
Tommy, before I go, can I just thank you so much again for having me today? And I'm really sorry I had to cut it a little bit short. But it's amazing to be within Dorothy and Audrey, amazing ladies. But Tommy, you're the best. You must be. And I just say thank you again. It's so much fun here, guys.
Oh, really thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, because I know you're still here for about 14 minutes, so you don't run away.
So no, don't dare.
Well, absolutely. Thanks for honoring our invitation. This, you just bring in a whole lot of light into anywhere that you walk into, and that's my experience of you. Yes, you're so much fun, and everyone can tell. And that was why you were just the right person to inspire our audience today. And you've done nothing short of that. So thank you so much for being
Thank you
here.
so much.
Thank you. So please don't go. And before you go, give us a wave. Yeah.
I will.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to bring Dorothy on stage. She's told us about create and copy, but now let's bring
Hello.
her to the hot seat.
I'm channeling some of Lena's energy. She's giving me, I'm just channeling some of your energy.
I know. Yes, Lena is 1.5. Okay, so Dorothy, I know you've told us about create and copy. Cute name. How did you come about the name? I think that's the first question.
So create and copy it came about because I'm always creating something. The copy part came through just the fact that I wanted the business to be all about copywriting. And it's just a term I think not a lot of people are familiar with. And a lot of people are not familiar with copywriters, but don't realize that every business under the sun needs a copywriter at some point. So I think that's where the copy comes from, but the create part comes from the fact that I'm a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer, and I'm always creating something or coming up with some sort of idea. So
I actually love the name. The first time I heard it, I'm like, it's so catchy that you can't forget about it. So, and when you hear names like that, it sinks, and pretty much it tells you what it does right in the name, create and copy. So you absolutely know what it does. So well done on that. But I know that you've not always had create and copy.
nope.
And I know that you have background in fashion, background and you've done so many interesting things.
I've pivoted.
So if you don't mind sharing, what was your journey like to, before you decided to say, okay, I think it's time for me to create and copy? What was the background, and what really gave you the oomph to say, okay, let's do this?
Yeah. So in the beginning, as I said, I've always been a dreamer. I've always wanted to create something and have something of my own. When I was in school and university, I've always loved English. I actually wanted to be a lawyer, and then pivoted in university and ended up doing sociology. But in terms of the written aspect, I've always been very critical and aware of things around me. So when I was in fashion, I worked with a lot of CEOs because we would get a campaign in store, and being in a management position, I would see something and say, okay, that doesn't read well with our audience, or we're not going to sell any of that. Or if I had to do a training session and HR have handed me down a training script, I would look at it and say, well, this doesn't make sense. This is not really how people speak. So I think for me, I've always written, and I've always loved text and reading, but I've never known where I could fit. And I guess I just didn't know about copywriters, because it's not something that you go to a trade fair or something and they're like, oh, well, do you want to be a copywriter? You've got the standard lawyers and doctors, and even with tech. So I think for me, now that the awareness is coming up, where people are more aware of tech and different industries, that's where I've now decided, I'm going off in a tangent, but basically from retail, I started to create a lot of brand ads and started to work with a lot of CEOs on creating different adverts and different marketing initiatives for the businesses. And they enabled the businesses to grow. They enabled the businesses to scale quite largely. And I remember a CEO always said to me, fail fast. So whenever I came up with a new idea, he would say to me, just fail fast, Dorothy, just do whatever you want to do. whatever you want to do with the team, whatever you want to do with the business, it's your business that you're managing and building in terms of budgets. But just fail fast if it doesn't work. And that's always really stuck with me. When I became a first-time mother, I had to choose because I was in a really high position in my career in retail, but it required a lot of time, a lot of meetings, a lot of events, and I used to travel quite a lot, which I loved, and I loved what I did. I loved being in different environments, meeting a lot of new people. But when I became a mother, I tried, and there's one instance that sticks out to me. My son was 8 months old, and I went back to work for the first time. And I arrived at work, and the nursery called me and said, your son hasn't stopped crying. And at that moment, it was a crossroad. I was looking at my office, and I had the phone, and what could I do at that moment? And I chose my child at that point. And I went back, I grabbed him from the nursery, and I went home. But and I thought at that moment I wanted to be a mum who was a stay-at-home mum, and really nurtured my children and was really involved in everything that they did. But then I kept having this conversation, and I've always had this pull to create something. So I didn't feel satisfied. And then I had a conversation with someone, and she said to me, well, you can have it all, just not at the same time. And you just need to know where you're at and when you need to get there, and that there is a time for everything, but you can truly have it all. And I'm at a position now where my kids are a little bit older. They're a little bit more independent from me. And I got to a space of, okay, do I want to go and work for a company? Do I want to help build another business, another brand? I've done it for so many years. Or do I want to, take action, fail fast, which I've done. I started 3 different businesses in the space of the last 10 years. And I failed fast. The moment it wasn't working, I said, right, I'm packing this up. It's not working. This is not the industry for me. And coming full circle and creating copy has brought me so much joy, because I get to use words to connect to people. So I love, as you can tell, I can talk for days, hence why I'm talking. And it's brought me full circle because I get to help businesses connect with their audience through words, through talking. I get to speak to them about their audience, how they're connecting with their audience. What strategies do you have in place to build that connection? And I get to help them do it through words. So for me, it's almost like I've come full circle, and I feel really settled in what I'm doing. And for me, my audience, as much as it's women and empowering women, I think women are doing so incredible at the moment. And but it's mothers. I really want to push female and push mothers and say, you can really have it all. You can't have it at the same time, but there is a point that you will get to, and you will come full circle and have it all at the same time. But yeah, so that's my story.
Oh wow, that's really, really interesting, and I could tell. So we've had Lena, who is passionate about impacting women, and now you've just taken it to another level. It's like you're passionate about women, but now you've even pretty much created a niche for it, which is now women that are mothers, because now they are not just juggling the sex that they are, they're also juggling little children and all of that. And I know that you've created something beautiful. I know we had a conversation about, was it Thriving Moms or something that you said a while ago? So I'm going
to my lockdown.
That's your lockdown project. I'm going to ask you about that in a minute. But I know that Lena has to be somewhere in 5 minutes, and I don't want to keep her in here. So we're just going to say thank you so much, Lena, for being here. And we hope that you would pretty much answer us when you call you another time to join us.
Definitely.
Fantastic. It's been a fantastic session with you, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much. And thank you, ladies. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Dorothy. Tommy, awesome lady. Definitely catch up with you again soon.
Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you.
Guys, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so as So Lena has left the stage. Oh, how sad.
I
Okay.
need her energy. I'm relaxing. I'm trying to channel Lena.
Okay. So, but your lockdown project, Thriving Moms, and from as you were talking, that was what I was just remembering, that you were talking about, you wanted to impact moms, and I could see how your career has taken you full circle into that. So, talk to us about that. Talk to us about what made you go for moms. What made you start that project, and how has that impacted where you are at the moment?
Yeah, I think Thriving Mums was birthed through an understanding. So after I had my child and I was at such a crossroad in terms of, thinking, can I still work and look after my kids? Can I still give my kids everything? And then kind of remembering that my mum was a hairdresser and she started at home, and she used to do hair at home. Clients used to come to the house and she used to do their hair, stay up late, and then she went on to opening multiple salons. But I do remember that she did miss moments that we wanted her to be there. And I just always felt the tug between the sacrifice and motherhood. And it's, can I have my career? Can I fulfill my dreams? Or is it that I'm letting down my kids? And I wanted to channel that through Thriving Mums by saying, you can be everything that you want to be, but at the same time, if you have this void, it's gonna lead to a place where you feel unfulfilled, and your children and your mothering style will then start reflecting on that, because children are really smart. They can sense things, and you don't want to be doing things with your kids and your mind is somewhere else because you're thinking about all the things that you want to do and you can't do. So Thriving Mums was my way to connect with other women through lockdown, to show them what I was doing with my kids in terms of learning. And I connected with some incredible mums, but I found that everyone was going through the same struggle. Do I want to be a full-time mom? Do I want to give my kids everything, but can I do it and have something else? And I think for me, Thriving Mums showed me that, yeah, absolutely, you can do it. But when we talk about growth mindset, for me, that period was a transition of growing my mindset and saying to myself, okay, you can do it. But one of the key factors in growth mindset is action counts. You have to take action. If you are always sitting down thinking shoulda, woulda, coulda, I'm not qualified, and imposter syndrome comes in, you're never going to take action. And as I said, this CEO, we had such an incredible relationship, and just I always hear fail fast. So that kind of makes me fearless in everything that I do. And I think that's so important in growth mindset, that you have to be fearless, but you have to take action. And if you don't take action, you don't know what's going to come of it. And if you fail, to be able to bounce from it and say, okay, just because I failed at that doesn't mean it's not going to work. And I think this is one of the things that I loved about Tommy when I met her. She just makes you believe that everything is possible. There is nothing that you can say to Tommy that she will shut you down and say, oh no, you can't do that. And part of growth mindset is being surrounded by people who believe in you, or believe that something can come of nothing, and making the impossible happen. So for me, that's also my favorite Bible verse, because impossible is nothing with God. So for me, it's, if I'm going to have a growth mindset, it's being around people who believe that anything is possible, who are going to steer you in those conversations where you're like, wow, okay, this can happen. And I know even with creating copy, sometimes you feel, as Tommy said earlier on, you don't really want to talk. Well, I'm terrible. You can tell I'm terrible at talking about myself and what I'm doing and trying to articulate it. But sometimes you don't know who you're inspiring. And, I remember just saying to Tommy, what do you do? And she told me bits, and I was like, wow, like, how are you doing it all? But speaking to someone that had that mindset, that had that, I can do it, I can have it all, maybe not at all at once, but I can strive for it. That really just pushed me, and you know, I absolutely adore you, Tommy. So you inspire me in so many ways. But for me, really, it's just being surrounded around the right people. They grow your mindset, not letting negative opinions affect you, and just take action. Just if you fail, you fail. Try again.
Absolutely. Phil, I like what you said in terms of the fail fast. If you're going to fail, just fail fast and move forward.
Yep.
And it's just, yeah, I can tell that that's the story of everyone here, because at the end of the day, I remembered what I keep talking about, this Harvard Business Review I read, and it's about a failure tolerant leader. And I think that was the day I learned a completely different mindset about failure, what this leader does. And later on, I realized that Jeff Bezos and others actually follow such mindsets as well, in terms of they encourage you to fail. So they won't deliberately say, go and fail. But the whole point is you're already going to fail, because the chances of succeeding at anything is like 1%.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to start something, the cards are already stacked against you.
Yeah.
Because if you bring in 100 founders, the number of people that are going to succeed out of those 100 is probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Now, so the chances of you failing, that is the ultimate thing that's going to happen. However, there's that very, very slim chance of you succeeding. So why not bite the bullet and just go for it? Who knows? You might just pretty much.
And you learn so much from failure. I mean, I think from learning what industry my skills, because one of the first businesses I started was like a jewelry line, and that's because
jewelry
line. But that was years ago. But that's because I was in fashion. I had the background, I had the connections, and I naturally love fashion. I love to look good, but I was not built for that industry as my own. And the funny thing is, in my career, I was incredible at building businesses and successful teams and everything. But I think it's different when you have your own product. And if you're not passionate about something, you cannot succeed at it. And what I found was that I was very good at what I did, but I wasn't passionate about it, because I always wanted to be somewhere else. So, you know, I said I would get something from HR and I would read it. And I actually did a CIPD because I thought at some point, okay, it's them, so let me do it and kind of see. But then when I did that, I was doing it and I wasn't passionate about it. And other businesses I started, I wasn't passionate about it. And now that I'm in the right industry for me, that brings out both skill and passion, I'm finding that the success is not effortless, because you have to do so much, but when you're in the right thing, things just work out, and it's almost like a domino effect. And anyone wanting to get into tech as well is brilliant, because I think it's such an incredible community that it's different from other industries. Everyone actually wants to work together, and in essence, you need each other, because you need that Audrey's business to help do your analytics for your business. You need Tommy's business to help your business grow and have the face of, you know, what your business needs. So everyone needs each other as well. So
Yeah, I actually didn't see that like that, but you're absolutely right. Especially in that industry, it's more collaborative. You can't really do one thing on your own.
Exactly.
You could be good at this, but you can't be good at everything. So it's about combining. I think we are missing Audrey in this conversation, so we need to bring Audrey into the conversation before we start taking questions.
Yes. I'm here.
So
I'm enjoying this, by the way. Really enjoying
this. That's good. Yeah, and for me as well, it just chilled. It's like hanging out with the ladies. And
I'm relaxing now. I'm relaxing.
And the questions are rolling it, but we will figure out the questions. Keep writing the questions, guys, as much as you can. Okay, so let's go to Audrey. I know Dorothy has told us a lot. Well, Dorothy, you're not off the hook yet. We're coming back to you. Well, let's go to Audrey. I think the very first place to start is wow. How was BTA night for you when
Wow.
you heard and the winner of the innovation award is Audrey Livery? How did that sound? How did you
Oh my
feel?
days. That was, well, first of all, the event was fantastic. I'm sure you probably seen some videos, some pictures on LinkedIn, but it was absolutely fantastic. I had a great moment. It felt like, I mean, I'm saying it again and again, it felt like black excellence in a womb. It was amazing.
Wow.
So many black talents, but people in technology from, oh, it was amazing. It was a fantastic evening, and obviously the shake on the cake for me was the award. I was shocked, to be honest. I was the only woman on the in that
In
category,
that category,
and
yeah.
if I'm being totally honest, I was like, one of the men probably is going to get it. And I was like, yeah, there's so many amazing guys on that in that category. I can see that. I'm like, nah, one of the guys gonna get it. And when he started to describe, okay, this individual, Cecily started to describe the winner.
Winner.
This individual has been working 10 years. I'm like, wait a second, that sounds familiar. You mentioned data. I was like, ooh, it's me.
Oh,
So it was amazing. It was fantastic. And having to deliver that speech, it felt like a victory for Black women in tech.
I
It felt
love your
like,
speech, by the way.
thank you so much. Yeah. It felt like a victory for Black women in tech, and I was like, no, this award is for us ladies tonight. So really enjoy that.
So I was just, when I saw the nomination, I was already cheering, as you will have seen on LinkedIn. I was like, oh my God, it's nominated. And then I saw the people in the category. I thought,
Thank you so
because
much.
I just saw, you're looking at the names. I'm like, oh gosh, oh God. Okay, do you know what? No, she still got it. She still got it. And then when it finally
Wow.
came and I see you in the red dress, I'm like, she won.
Look like you had more faith in myself than I have in myself, which is crazy.
That's really how much I followed it. I followed everything. I saw and the pause you had at the, you finished your first speech and then you thought, oh God, I forgot something. And then you pretty much
And I was like, it felt like, okay, Audrey, calm down. All right, let's walk. Make sure you don't fall when you interrupt your But I was like, okay, I try to speak from the heart as well, and obviously, we have to give the thanks at the end. So I was like, oh, by the way, so it was amazing. It was amazing to share that with viewers, with people who supported me so far. People from my team, my family, etc. So it's been great.
that's interesting. So for you, I have special questions.
Go for it.
So I noticed. So yeah, BTA is an excellent, and I'm sure that this is just the beginning, because I remembered when you shared this quibble with me, and I told you that okay, and so this is going against what Dorothy said in terms of Tommy will always support. Although I supported Audrey right from the beginning, but there was something I said, and I was happy it didn't stop you. There was something I said, and I realized it. I said, okay, that what you're doing is amazing. I think that if you are going to go for it, you have to really, really, really go for it. I then gave you another competitor. Can you remember this conversation? So you can't.
I know it was at the event we met in.
No. We had a consultation after the event. Can you remember?
I think it was the one. I can't remember properly. Sorry.
That's fine. So we had a consultation after the events, yeah, and that was where I was like, maybe. But I was very, very happy when I heard that. Oh yeah, you're going ahead with it because you already had the team that was going to build it. In fact, you've already started. And I was like, check out this other application. They're pretty good. They're trying to do something similar. But when I saw what you did at the end, I was pretty much blown away that, yeah, you went for it and you took everything. And honestly, I'm super, super proud that you didn't allow anything stop you and you did what you had to do.
Thank you. No, thank you so much. And, on this point, when it comes to me, if I have an idea and I know it's going to be good, I try to focus on that value. One advice that I give is that don't let others' opinion to define your value. Define what you can do and who you can be. And I try to live by that. When I arrived to the UK, it's been challenging because I felt like I was being put in a box when I work in a corporate environment. So I'll probably come back to my journey a little bit. But just a parenthesis here, it felt like I was put in a box, and I didn't feel like I could grow the way I wanted it. When I realized that, it was the about realizing it. I was like, Audrey, you can do so much more if you allow yourself to, actually. So I had to come out of this environment and allow myself to grow. So build my first business and learn how to sell, learn how to talk as well, learn how to market myself, learn how to build things. I learned that, as an entrepreneur, you go there, you just don't find clients like that. It doesn't come to you. You have to learn how to sell, how to find clients. So I learned so much just by being just jumping in the sea and swim, really. So the thing with me, if I know there is some value there, I go for it. Obviously, I give people advice. I listen to others. I listen to suggestions. But at the end of the day, if I know the value is there, I just go. And I allow myself to fail. As you mentioned, ladies, you have to accept that failure is part of the game. But once you fail, what can you learn from it? So I try to take the lesson from it and build on top of that. And I keep progressing, basically.
Absolutely. And that's it. That's the story right there, is in terms of you can't allow anyone to, people can put their own fears on, when you have conversations, you have to also be careful about the people you're having conversations with. Dorothy mentioned about growth mindset is surrounding yourself with the right people, people that support you, but also you also have, there's the other side of it as well. Some people will support you and they're just yes and yes. They'll never be able to tell you the truth. You also have to be wary of such people. But then there'll be some people that would put their own fears upon yourself. And then you need to say, that's just your fear. I'm not worried about any competition. I'll go for it because I see a different sort of value in it. And that's exactly the story that you're sharing. Yeah. But I want to take you back again. I know about your two businesses. Both of them are in data. I know the first one that you had as well. But tell us about the story. How did it all happen? Do you understand? What is, when you came into the country, you started to talk about it a few minutes ago, and then you held back a bit. But I think it's interesting for people to understand that it didn't just happen. And you still have a long way to go, but where you have achieved, what you've achieved now is not something that can be taken for granted. You understand? But what made you decide to say, do you know what, I'm going to create this app? And what were the challenges you faced while trying to do it?
Okay, that's a good question. So let me take it back a bit. So so I'm from Martinique. I'm from the Caribbean. So I actually studied. I live in the Caribbean until 20 years of age, 20, 21, something like that. So I was at uni. I actually studied transportation, logistics management, so supply chain. That's actually my background. I don't have a tech background, by the way. So anyone who wants to get in tech and you think, oh, I don't have a tech background, you still can do it. I actually studied supply chain in Martinique at the University of Huddersfield, and University of Martinique. That was a brilliant program, and I actually been recruited in the University of Huddersfield in Yorkshire. So I arrived in the UK. Obviously it was a shock. There was a language barrier because obviously in Martinique we don't speak English, so we speak French. So I actually learned English just at school. So that was the first barrier. There was the weather. Obviously, never lived in France before, so I was not used to that weather at all. So that was a shock. So basically, I studied. So I was in the University of Huddersfield. I arrived directly in second year, did a year there. Then I went to the US to do an internship, LA, Miami. Then I came back, finished my degree, graduated in 2011. And straight after I was looking for a job. I was looking for my first job in the UK. So I was a supply chain. I was in supply chain, obviously, but I wanted to work with data. I knew that I wanted to work with tech, combine supply chain and data. And the funny story, the story that I actually tell when I talk about my journey is that when I look for that job, I went for an interview and they actually asked me to do a VLOOKUP. I could not do it on Excel. And I could not.
So they gave you a computer to say do a VLOOKUP using Excel, and you couldn't do VLOOKUP?
No.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
Nope. I could not do it. And I say that on purpose to tell you where I started. I couldn't do a VLOOKUP, and I thought, listen, I could use Excel, but I couldn't do that. Okay, that's not going to happen anymore. Let me go buy a book. Let me buy an Excel book or something. Let me learn how to do this. So it never happened again. So at some point, I got my first word, etc. I became a supply chain analyst. I work with different companies. I developed myself in Excel, Access, VBA, SQL, etc. Work for companies such as Boots, MetaPack, GSK, etc. At some point, I done a lot with data, with supply chain. I done supply chain modeling, and I developed my tech skills more and more. At some point, I was actually working with SQL. So I was like, oh, cool, I'm becoming a tech professional now. And I actually enjoyed it. So I thought, okay, I want to be a consultant now. So I found a supply chain company. I done some supply chain consultancy. 1 year after, it was time. I felt it was time to actually start my own business. I wanted to be in tech full time. I wanted to be in data full time. So I just jumped. I started the business. I registered it. And you notice I said I just jumped. I just went one step at a time. I just registered the name with Companies House. And that was the first milestone. That was the first step. And about a month later, a company approached me, one of the big four, by the way, in consultancy, approached me to actually work with them. So it's one step after the other. This is what I tell people. If you want to do something, just put one foot after the other and it's going to progress. So that's how I started. Build my first company, LY Corp. I was still an analyst at that stage. I was noticing the change in the market, that data science was actually buzzing at that stage. So I was like, okay, you need to upgrade yourself. You need to upskill yourself if you want to get more contracts. So I decided to learn how to code. So I started coding actually in 2017. So that's not too long ago. I learned Python. I learned how to become a data scientist and a data strategist. And I build to become who I am now. So I had this idea since 2016 about that app, about that concept. And when I felt like I had enough expertise and experience to actually build it, so around 2019, 2020, this is where I started the business, Quivo. So we registered Quivo, got a DevOps team, build it, and here we are now, basically. So it's been, it was not overnight. It was one step after the other, basically.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So we're going to come back to your journey with Quivo, and I want to bring in Dorothy into this conversation. So this is a question that someone has asked. Okay, so Dorothy, this is a question from Florence. Florence said that, Dorothy, thank you for sharing your story. My question is, have you ever experienced depression as a career mother, and how did you manage it?
Okay, that's a really, really good question. I've never experienced depression, but I definitely think that I've had low moments where, sorry, my daughter's peeping through. Just a minute.
She can say hi.
She wants a cuddle. So I've never experienced depression, but there have definitely been low moments where I think you just as I said before, you get to a crossroad where you just don't know where you are and where you're going. You don't know what direction to take next, and knowing the right time to pivot and just to make the right decision and just to do it quickly, and whether you know it's a right decision or not. For me, prayer and having the right conversations with the right people, researching, and really just being really open about how I feel. My husband is great because he's different to me. So I'm the dreamer. He's very logical. He's very strategic. So if I, say to him, this is what I want to do, he'll say, okay, well, have you considered all of the obstacles? So for me, I think it's just, you've got great people around you. You've got great, you don't just need mentors. You need to identify the gifts in the people that you have around you. And I think for me, what doesn't allow, why I don't ever, find myself in a place where I'm really, really sunken, is because I speak about how I'm feeling, and I identify the right people for the right moment for what I'm feeling. So it's great to have friendships. It's great that, you've got relationship with your parents and your husband, but they might not be the right person for what you're feeling. So for me, speaking to women who have either experienced what I'm experiencing or they're very successful in what they're doing, really helps you navigate where you are and what you're doing. And if it's time to pivot, and just not letting fear. I think with depression, there's a lot of fear. So it's not letting fear overwhelm you, and not being afraid of change. I think just realizing that sometimes you get to certain points and change is good, and to just embrace it sometimes.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dorothy. Audrey, do you have anything to add to that?
I totally agree with what you said, Dorothy. And for me, it's all about, first of all, the network. You cannot progress by yourself. You need a good network of people who can support you. And again, as you mentioned, it might not be the family. It might not be people that are close to you, but you can always find people who actually experiencing the same thing as yourself. Of entrepreneurs, networking of founders, for example, where you can share things with. So it's really important to have that network. I really felt it with Quivo. At some point, I felt a bit isolated, and I was thinking, you need to find people that are experiencing the same thing. And once I joined the Barclays Black Founder Accelerator, by the way, that was amazing. That actually,
I was going to come to that question.
Yeah. That helped me develop my network. That helped me really put myself out there. So I definitely agree. And obviously for me, also praying and focusing on God. I think without God, I wouldn't be here today. So for me, it's really important to find some time to focus on myself, find some time to silence the noise, really, and being able to communicate with God and know what direction to take as well. Because people can just talk around you, but at the end of the day, you are the one who know where you're supposed to go, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I had to bring that question up because, today we're talking about growth mindset. And if someone is feeling depressed, especially after you have had a baby or, you're a mother and things like that, it's something that a lot of women go through and we don't talk about it. It feels like it's a taboo. Don't talk about it. It feels, but I don't think it should be so. The body goes through a lot of change. So many things. I try to tell first-time moms because it was like a shock to my system when I was a first-time mom. I was like, what? You're so used to yourself. You're so used to, now you have this thing. You love the child, but I just want to be alone. and you have those sort of moments.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is that allow yourself have those moments. Don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
This is the thing with moms, especially. It's like they just keep feeling guilty. Allow yourself, once you start to suck yourself into that guilt, come out again, because at the end of the day, you're somebody's child. So if you think about it in that way, and you understand that you don't want to resent anybody, and you still have to achieve the things you want to achieve, You try to create timetables. And Dorothy said something that I thought it was powerful, which is the fact that you want to have everything, but you can't have it all at the same time. If you're a new mom, then you need to understand that as at right now, maybe some things have to take a backseat, but they don't need to take a backseat for so long. So don't keep them or stop dreaming. No, you keep dreaming, but now you set realistic goals to them, because now it's not just about yourself. And I think talking to the right people, like Audrey has said, filling yourself with the right support system would help you come out of whatever hole that you think you're trying to get to. And I so agree with you guys. There is nothing that your faith cannot give to you. You need to believe in something that is bigger than yourself. And once you have to run to that thing, and if yours is just for you to read a novel and have a cup of tea, please allow yourself. allow you. We all deserve happiness. Allow yourself those moments, and please remove the guilt. Stop feeling guilty. People will say, a child will cry. Yes, crying doesn't kill any child. But they've cried for too long. But sometimes just allow yourself, understand that you're also human within this whole thing. You're trying to find your own foot, at the same time try to raise a child, and there's no manual for these things.
To pour into others, you have to recharge first.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's why, on the plane, they'll tell you, if something happens, they do not say put on the child's on first. Wear your mask.
Exactly.
Then remember the child.
Exactly.
That is life. That is life. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody. And that's the irony of this whole thing. So I'm glad that we're able to touch on that, even though I know that is a sensitive subject, but I'm glad that we touch on that today. So now let's go into the Accelerator program. So I saw that the advert for that actually, and this is some of the things that Lena talked about. It's about putting yourself out there. And you're like, no, I'll do it later. But you didn't do later. You saw the same adverts that Barclays was calling Black founders. You put in the application, you got chosen, and it changed. So tell us about it. What made you press that button?
Well, at that stage, I was actually looking for a support network. I actually joined Barclays Incubator Program in Cambridge around that time, because I was actually looking for a place that was supporting Black founders in general, where I could get some support. And I actually there's another program as well, the Barclays Funding Readiness Program, which I joined. And I heard about this Black Founder Accelerator program. I actually noticed the first cohort the year before, and I was like, that's the one I want to get on to. I wanted this one. I was like, okay, I need to get in. So I actually applied, and for me, it was important because it felt like the accelerator for people looking like me, for other Black founders, and I mean. I'm trying to find the right words for that. But for me, it's important because not all funders, you can have funders from all kinds of backgrounds, but not everyone experiences the same thing, if you see what I mean. And as Black funders, we have some challenges that only us can understand. And having this space where we can share, where we can encourage each other, where we can learn and grow, that was this accelerator. And it's actually brilliant. I cannot recommend it enough. The quality of the master classes, the content, the speakers, the opportunity to network with so many people from senior individual from all kind of companies, coaches, experts. Amazing, invaluable. So I cannot recommend it enough.
It was nice to see. It was nice to see that you were part of the Barclays Accelerator program, and I think that this is something as well in terms of putting yourself out there, and this is something that many founders might not realize, that it's not just about coming up with the idea and trying to set up the idea. Once you think you've gotten your foundation right, you now need to find support. And there are so many ways in which there are so many ways in which people can support you out there. There are grants that are out there that all you need to do is to make up your mind, I'm going to apply for this. Now, it doesn't mean you're always going to get it, but then you just have to put yourself out there. But if you never try, then you never know. There's so many accelerator programs out there as well that help you. Not only, it doesn't take away from what you already know, but it adds to the things that you know and show you the different connections that are out there that could help you get to the next stage. You get, and I've been on quite a number as well. Like the Virgin one was super good, which was helping a lot of founders, and the one from the mayor of London, the one that, yeah. So and that one is such a powerful one. You then become part of an alumni because now everyone is trying to see each other's growth, and that is something that will encourage anybody that is starting a business to find those sort of networks that are out there that will be able to help you in terms of growing. So thanks for bringing that up. There's a question here that I will. You want to say something? Yeah.
I just wanted to say to your point, you need to take the risk. Sometimes it can fail. It can feel like, you have this imposter syndrome. I'm probably not good enough, or actually, I'm probably not going to get it. But like you said, if you don't try, you won't know. Just go for it. Just give your best and see if you get it. If you get in, great. And keep pushing, keep progressing. But that's the thing. When it comes to business, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, like they say.
Exactly. So your default state is be uncomfortable, and then when you find something that's comfortable, because every single thing you're doing, this is uncomfortable. Putting yourself out there, it is uncomfortable. But after a while, now you're like, all right, we're already talking. We might as well just carry on.
Exactly.
and that's what it's all about. Yeah. So there is a question from Ayo that I'll put up. He said, "How do you?" And I think this is to both of you. How do you stay motivated? What really keeps you going?
I think I don't mind going first. I think for me, what keeps me going is my vision. I think you have to have a business vision, but you also have to have a personal vision and it's your why. You see everybody always, people always say, what's your why? My why is that I have seen unfulfillment. So I have seen people that have dreams. I've seen family members. I've seen women who have dreams and desires, and they're at the age where they feel so unfulfilled because they never took action. They never kept going when they felt defeated, when they failed. And my children as well. I think for me, I've always wanted to leave a legacy for my children. I want my children to be able to look back and kind of be able to recognize that I wasn't just their mother. I don't know how to describe it, but
I get you.
Yeah, I want them to see me as a whole person, so that when they envision their future as well, they see themselves as more than one thing. So like my son's going through a series of things now where he's like, I want to do this, I want to do this. And he said to me, can I be all these things? And I said, yes, you can do them all. Maybe not at the same time, but you can be all of these things. And I actually correlated all the things that he was telling me he wanted to do in one go. And he said he never thought of it like that. And of course he wouldn't, he's 6. But I look at that, and that's my why. I want them to see someone that they're inspired by. And I don't have to be, for me, success is like the icing on the cake. I don't have to be, incredibly successful. But the fact that I've impacted my nuclear family and my children to be the best that they can be, and to see that, they can achieve the impossible. For me, that's my why.
Fantastic. Audrey, to you?
Oh, my why. I think it's not far from what you said, Dorothy. For me, it's all about being able to take care of my family, I would say. Being able to take care of others. I'm someone who like to help in general. But it's not just, get rich and retire.
Yeah.
It's not about that at all. For me, it's about, okay, what can I do now for myself to grow and also inspire others? So as I grow, can I actually pull others with me? But also when I get to a certain point, how can I also help others achieve or achieve things? And how can I build something that can also contribute to people learning and people helping, basically just helping. It's all about helping for me. This is something that's close to my heart, because I come from a modest family. I come from a modest environment, and I wanted more. I didn't want to just settle for what was before me. And I was like, you got talents, you got a brain, you got your gifts, you need to use them. Otherwise, I feel like a waste. You know, I mentioned God. For me, it's like, use your talents. Use your talents and put it in service to the world. Put it in service to others. Serve others. And that's all about that for me. How can I help you? And even now, I feel like sometimes I'm just so busy. I'm running left, right. But if someone needs help in the middle, let me stop. Let me slow down. How can I help you? It's all about that. If you because it cannot be all about yourself.
Yeah.
And
to answer that question directly as well from Audrey's point, what keeps you going when you don't really feel like when you don't really feel when you don't really feel the push that you need? You know, the Bible says that you need to subdue and multiply, and as Audrey said, we are given gifts. So as you bring forth your gifts, you are actually multiplying by the fact that you are bringing others along, you are impacting society, you are impacting your family. And I think a lot of people think so big, and I can't remember where I read it, but if you impact one person, that's a big impact, because you don't know who else they're going to impact, and it will build eventually. And I think even in business, one of the key things I've learned in even me as a dreamer, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs maybe get this, where you get loads of ideas and you see the big picture and you see, I bring myself back. And I think, Audrey, you said this early, where you put one foot in front of the other. And as you grow and you see those little wins and you celebrate it, you know, that keeps you going. But don't look down on your small beginnings. Don't look down on your small growth, and that will keep you going.
Absolutely. Celebrate the milestone.
Yeah. So I copy exactly what both of you have said. That is just the same thing. That's what I said. So someone is asking here, this is an interesting one. I'll put it on stage. It's from Victoria. She's saying, how do you truly overcome imposter syndrome? And I think, Audrey, you mentioned imposter syndrome first, so I'll let you go first.
You never truly overcome it, but you learn how to tell it to shut up. It's never going to disappear. It's like fear. Fear is never going to disappear. You know, everyone has fears. It's how you learn to overcome those fears as well. Because the imposter syndrome is like a fear as well. So I think it's about finding what's right for you, so you can shut those noises, shut those voices, and believe in your value, believe in yourself. I know when it comes to men, for example, men just go for roles where they don't qualify for. And us women, it's like, oh, we need to tick all the boxes. That's crazy. So when I realized that, I was like, you know what, that got to change. You got to mass. I was like, okay, now, even if you don't qualify for everything, you don't feel you got all the boxes ticked, let's go for it. Let's apply and let's push and let's see what happened. And this is how I grew. So don't feel like you have to eliminate that, but use that fear as a fuel to push you, to motivate you, and to go further. That's what I would say to that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. It's like imposter syndrome is going nowhere. Every single time you're trying to take a new challenge, you're like, what am I doing here? But you're like, no, remember, you need to be here. So you need those two voices. One that's like So unique, you have to be here, and then you have that one. Oh, so you have to know how to just tone the other one down. You shut up. You come out.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have loads of questions here. So I'm going to. This is for you directly. This has to do with copywriting. So I'll bring this straight to the stage. What's the difference between copywriting and content writing? I think this is priority space.
Do you know, this gets asked all the time. So in simple terms, copywriting is more sales driven. So when you write, it's to have the end goal as someone purchasing a product or a service, and with content is more about engagement. So that's why you find content writing more on social media. It's to engage your clients, it's to inform, to entertain, to inspire. Copywriting are all those three things as well. But when I inform, I should inform you on a product or service. When I inspire you, I should inspire you on why you need the product or the service. And when I entertain you, I should entertain you into falling in love with my business and company and brand, into purchasing and working with us.
Okay, interesting. So still on you, Dorothy. This is a follow-on question. How do you handle writer's block?
Wow.
Read a lot about this one. Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay. So it's a really bad habit, I will point out, because especially now with everything on mental health and everything, you shouldn't do it. And I'm really conscious because the kids see me with it, but I have my phone with me all the time. And it's so bad, but there was a night my daughter woke up at about 2:00 and I put her back to sleep and I couldn't sleep. And I sat on the floor in her room and I wrote a whole piece for one of my clients, because at that moment I had so much clarity and I knew exactly what I wanted to say and how I wanted to put it for that. And it literally, I got the document at 2 a.m. I mean, I was really tired in the morning because I didn't sleep till like 4 a.m. But I never know when I'm going to be inspired. And most of my great, taglines and stuff come when I'm in the shower. So sometimes I need to open the shower door and quickly
there.
yeah. And I try not to put pressure on myself, because sometimes, I mean, procrastination is something we all are fighting hard. But how I try to beat procrastination is when I'm really inspired to work, I just do it. I don't try and limit myself to a particular time and day, but also knowing when you work best. So I'm weird because I love early mornings, because that's where I find my clarity. I plan my day, I can write well, and late at night. When I get writer's block, midday. So I try not to schedule anything for midday. So midday, I tend to do all my meetings and everything. But first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening. So once everyone's asleep, that's how I overcome it. So, and also have my phone with me everywhere, which is not good.
So that's because
I've been making notes while we've been talking, by the way, as well.
Oh, really? So that's because you discovered yourself and you know what works for you.
Yeah.
So you're working around that.
Exactly.
Interesting. So Audrey, this is for you. Someone is asking, so this is Faith. She's saying, Audrey, what are some tips for dealing with setbacks?
A good one. I say, when a setback occurs, so make a pause for a moment and analyze what happened, reflect on what happened, and learn from that failure. We all go through it, but it's about, okay, what lesson can I learn from that, and how can I go at it better next time? And then I try again. That's a thing. So when a setback happened, the worst thing you could do for yourself is not trying again. You have to, okay, that was bad. That was good. That was a positive. Okay, let me try again. Let me do it better. Let me go again. At some point, you'll do better and better. You'll progress, and you will see the difference. So for me, setbacks are all about learn from the failure and try again.
Right. And there's a question here that is actually for Lena, but Lena is not here. So I would think maybe both of you could help answer this question. So Ayo is asking, can you share some networking tips? I'm really interested in trying to network more. So if someone is trying to, start networking, where do you think he should start from? How do you think he could begin? Where does he find places to network in?
So
Anyway,
I think I'm going to stare it from a different angle to Audrey. So I'm gonna give my 2 cents.
I could give some tips. So for me,
I was simply going to say that you don't realize the people around you and what they do. So have the conversations, be able to, I think it was Tommy that said earlier on that you need to be able to put yourself out there and not be intimidated. Don't let imposter syndrome affect how you connect with other people. Everyone has started from somewhere, and what you find is some of the most successful people are so open and so willing to share. All you have to do is start the conversation and they will lead. So even with Tommy, we got connected because I think one day, I think it was a car park or something, and I just said to her, what do you do? I just said to her, what do you do? And she told me. And I think once you put yourself out there, do not let imposter syndrome make you feel smaller than, because what you find is that when you are around successful people, it is contagious. They don't look down on you because they've been there. And what they're actually ready to do is impart on you for you to kind of get you there. And I think once you're brave enough, and the moment you ask the question, you actually free yourself from imposter syndrome. Because I remember once I asked Tommy, it was like home sailing. And and when you're networking as well, I think, well, for me, I do it, and you have this picture of someone in your head, and you kind of villainize them for no reason, and you're like, oh no, maybe that person's not approachable, or and you speak to them and you realize they're the nicest people ever. So just go for it, ask the questions, and speak to the people around you. Because I think sometimes we have friends, and I remember a group of me and my friends, we went out, and we don't actually really know what each of us does in our profession. Like, we've known each other for so long, we love each other, and everything. What do you actually do in your job role? And once you start asking those questions and having the conversations, your network starts expanding, because okay, maybe I want to connect with this person more because they're more aligned with what I'm doing, etc. So that's my networking tips.
I say, on my side, LinkedIn, leverage LinkedIn as much as you can. LinkedIn is a great platform to start networking with others, because people are actually spread all around the world. And for me, it's like on LinkedIn, you need to grow that your circle on your network. I think some people are actually afraid to add people onto a network, to also send invite to others. Invite people who are in your industry. For example, if you're in tech, start adding people who are in your industry. Start adding people who think you can learn from, etc. And start growing that LinkedIn circle if you want. Also, comments on other people's posts. If you comment over people's posts, start interacting with others. Start to say, what do you do? Can we maybe meet for virtual coffee or something? And expand your network this way. It's good. It's a good platform to start networking with others. I actually leverage it as much as I can because I realized that one thing that I learned during my entrepreneurial journey is that people don't buy from you if they don't know you.
Yeah.
And before I could actually arrive to the point where I say, okay, people actually can just buy from my platform, etc., I realized that I have to raise my brand awareness. And the weird thing is that for Quivo, I started posting things about, okay, the business, dashboard, etc., but that's not what's working. Once I started to share about me, things that I do personally, or I did this or I did that, when it becomes personal, people react more to it. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and show who you are, because people like genuine person. That's it. And they will start to respond, and you can expand on that.
I absolutely agree. I'll give another dimension to that question. And I agree with what both of you have said. Absolutely. LinkedIn is an awesome platform. So, but there's something you have to do first, is the fact that you have to be deliberate about connecting. It's not something you just do like, oh, and on the way I'll just connect. No. If you really want genuine connection, it's actually time consuming. And I remember when I made a decision for myself to say, okay, I've created so many businesses. I have the whole fail fast thing. And some of them actually succeed, but I just got tired because I'm bored of this one. And then I said that I was going to do something different, but I don't want to behave the same way I've been behaving, or do it exactly the same way I've been doing. I want to grow something that could be global, that has the chance of actually scaling to have millions of people in it. And I said, what do? I have to look at the people around me. I wrote the list of the people around me. And I said, okay, these ones I'm going to talk to. These ones I'm going to talk to. And I'll start from there. But I said, okay, what other things do I have around me that I can leverage? Then I remembered Eventbrite. And I said, I went on to it. I know about LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I know what to do on LinkedIn. But I'm like, no, this one, I want to physically touch somebody. How do I connect in a place where I can physically touch somebody? So I went on Eventbrite and I started to look at the different events that were happening. This was 2018, by the way. I found Global Women. And I noticed that their event was going to be, it's a network of women that are doing business. However, they were going to give you 1 or 2 free opportunities to come and see what they do. I found the BMI network. So I went on to these old places. I met amazing people through there. I connected with a whole bunch of women, and then I got invited onto other events, and I started to grow my network from there. But I didn't go there just to say I want to take a bunch of telephone numbers. No, I also want them to know what I do. I want to listen to them and be deliberate about connecting. So if you want to really have genuine connections that can impact the things that you do, you have to be deliberate about it. It's time consuming, and you have to take action, like the ladies have said. Then you leverage places like LinkedIn. But it's not just by clicking accept and that is it. No, you have to start a conversation. Try to be genuine about knowing what the person does. And through that, you can build a genuine connection. So I'm looking at the time. We have 7 minutes and we have 4 questions in here. So I'm going to take, let's try and do 1 minute each on each of these questions. And maybe we don't all have to go for it, but maybe, so I'll go for the one that has your name on it first. Dorothy. This says, hi, Dorothy. What really helps you unwind generally as a writer?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if I actually unwind. I mean,
60 seconds.
I'm always on the go, to be honest. When the kids are sleeping, I guess just switching everything off. I've become really intentional about putting my phone on sleep mode from 10 p.m. Even if I am up working, just to disconnect from everyone. And majority of the time, disconnect for everything. So try not to work from 10 p.m. and have an early bedtime. But I love a good book. I love a good Netflix. I'm a recovering, I love Coca-Cola.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, I don't drink alcohol. So during lockdown, I drank a lot of Coca-Cola. I'm trying to stay off of that. But yeah, so just a good film, good company, and just to relax, really.
Okay. I hear you. I was just asking. So have you seen the newest Bridgerton? Because that's the talk of the town now.
You know what? I have watched 2 episodes.
Junkie.
I am. I'm recovering. I've told you I'm recovering. It's the killer of productivity.
Okay, so Audrey, so you could take this one. So Victoria is on it tonight. She said, you spoke about a couple of failures. How did you know which one needed a mindset change to grow and the ones you had to stop?
Wow. That's a big one. Oh,
Oh,
let me see how I can answer that. Okay, so I think you need to have a goal, an end goal. When you navigate, obviously, if you go on a trip, you know where you're going. For example, if I say I go to France, I have a destination, right? So I think it's the same thing in the journey. You need to understand where you're going. You need to have an end goal and some milestone. It doesn't mean that it's set in stone. You know, it can move. You can refine that. But for me, it's important to have that end destination and break it down in milestone. So once you have failures, it's about identifying, okay, did that bring me closer to my goal or further back? Am I going off course or am I going closer to it? So if you realize that, okay, you have a failure, but it doesn't work, something is broken, something doesn't, if you have these repeated failures over and over again and something doesn't work, you may have to reconsider your mindset. So
right.
I think this is how I go about it, is what can help you get closer to your goals, learn from it. And if you realize that something doesn't work, don't be afraid to change. Change is something powerful. Change is scary, change is painful, but change is powerful.
Absolutely. I agree. And I think because of time, so we only have one question. We've answered the other one. And this is the last one. Having a knack for everything, how do you determine which of your many interests you should focus on?
Okay.
So who wants to go for this one?
Okay, I try this. I'll say, I think it's aligned with what I said just a moment ago about the goal. Do what brings you joy in the morning. Do what you're passionate about, what you love doing. It may take some time for you to navigate and understand what you love, because there's a difference between what you're good at and that doesn't bring you much joy, and what you actually do and make you smile wherever you do it. So you could wake up in the at 2 a.m. in the morning, you could work overnight, you could work like crazy, but you can keep pushing because you love what you do. So I think identify what brings you joy and focus on that first.
And my last question, sorry, Doris, because of time, we only have 2 minutes. So each one of you, and this is just like 30 seconds. If you look back at your younger self and with what you've achieved now, and I know you still have a lot of places to go to, what advice would you give to your younger self, especially looking at the subject of today in terms of mindset and things like that? What sort of advice would you give to, let's say, an 18-year-old Dorothy or an 18-year-old Audrey?
I would definitely say don't doubt yourself and try out every single idea that you have got time. It is okay to fail fast, and write down every vision, every dream, and pursue it until you are in your comfort zone but out of your depth, because then you're in the right place, in the right position, because you're growing, you're having to learn and grow in order to build something bigger than yourself.
Wow, that's powerful. In your comfort zone but out of your depth. I'll take that one. All right, Audrey, to you.
Okay, so I always come back to those. Do not let anyone's opinion of you define who you are and define your value. For me, that's very important. And I wish I knew that. I understood that way before. And do not let others put you in a box as well. You're the one who knows how fast you can grow. Innovate, create, be bold, use your talent, use your gift, and try and shine. That's it. Use your talent and go out there.
Absolutely. And I would say one thing just before we close off. It's just going to be to my younger self. I would say be kind to the people you meet on your way going up. Never burn your bridges, because you might just decide to walk on that bridge again. And yes, don't doubt yourself. Know that, like as all the ladies have said, you have to fail fast, and then you get up again, you learn from it, and you do it all over again. Life is a journey, and you have so much time in your hands. Be kind to others and treat people the way you would like to be treated. So, ladies, it's been 2 hours. Can you believe it? We finished.
I told you once I started talking.
I know. It's been 2 hours, and we've had, oh my God, this leaderboard has just been changing from one person to another. And then right now, at 8 o'clock, we have Segun Ibrahim with 560 points as our winner. And Segun, you've just won yourself £50 from Tedbree. And yeah, so we'll take Segun's details. I think I have an idea who he is. And please tell other people there's money to be won by coming to our events. Yeah, so the second, Angela, Victoria, Femi, everyone else that participated, thank you so much for participating, and congratulations, Segun. To our speakers, you guys are awesome. You're awesome in your lives and the things that you do. You bring a lot of joy to many people. Your businesses are helping people, and you're also achieving your dreams in the purpose at the same time as well. So we just want to say thank you for honoring our invitation. Thank you for doing the things that you do. Thank you for making the impacts they are making into the world. Thank you for shining the light on women as much as you do. And we at Tedbree, we are going to be some of your biggest cheerleaders as you go ahead to keep fighting and to keep winning.
Thank you so much, Tommy. And a big thank you to you and Tedbree, the Tedbree team, for everything that you do. You're an amazing woman in tech. Keep shining. Keep pushing. We need more models like you. So thank you so much for today. It was a pleasure to share this moment with you and Dorothy and Lina as well.
Oh, you too, Audrey. Tommy, keep shining. You're our inspiration and you are doing incredible. Tedbree is an incredible business, incredible platform, incredible team. So
thank you so much. Thank you. Guys, we have in our chat, we have a feedback link that the team has put in there. Please feel free to click on it and just let us know your feedback of this event so that we could bring you more powerful people next time. So check out Tedbree events. We're constantly having events. I think our next event is next week. We have an Instagram live with another amazing female tech founder. So we are not just all about women, but we are kind of focusing on women these days. So just keep checking us out and see what other people are doing so you could be inspired to build your own dreams as well. So until next time, I will have to end the session. Thank you so much for joining us, and speak to you all soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.